Thank you, Anna. Beautiful. The NCAA, the Big East Conference, and Creighton University encourage and promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or ethnic comments, or other intimidating acts. Players, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are bound for rule from the site of competition. Thank you.
Live from the Creighton Sports Complex here in Omaha, Nebraska, it is Creighton Softball here on GoCreighton.com. We welcome you inside our broadcast perch. Alongside John Schreiner, I'm Donnie Barnes. And John, it wasn't supposed to be the conference opener for Creighton today, but it's turned out to be that way after a snow out last weekend. So important to get off to a good start in Big East play.
Well, the weather around the country has really been bad. It hasn't been good here, so, practicing outside has been tough for Creighton. They had a road trip canceled, so just really excited, I think, to get the conference slate started here at home.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups for game one of this doubleheader today between Creighton and Providence. And for the visiting Providence Friars, John, they're a team that's really struggled on offense so far this year, even though they did manage to win their first two Big East games last weekend.
Yeah, team batting average below 200, just have not hit the ball very well. They have pitched pretty well, which has kept them in some games, but they're going to need to start using the stick a little bit better here to open conference play.
Let's take a look at our starting pitcher for the Creighton Bluejays in game one of this doubleheader. It is Brianna Clark, and you see she's off to a very strong start this season with that good ERA.
We remember her last year, Donnie. She was the game one starter all season last season, a real dominant force in the circle. We'll see if she can recapture some of that magic she had in 2017.
Creighton, of course, wearing the white and blue tops and bottoms. Providence are in the road blacks today. Providence will have Emma Lee stepping toward the plate to get this one started. So we're just about set for softball on what has turned into a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. And Clark with the first pitch of game one, and it's a bit off the outside. Ball one, and off we go.
Emily, just a 246 average in that leadoff spot. Just sort of a microcosm of the struggles offensively that Providence has had.
See her running up in the box as she takes a strike. Our umpires today are John Orlowski behind the plate. Jim Bewley is down the third base line. Susan Eads is commanding first base. 2 balls and a strike to Emily.
It'll be really interesting to see, after a little bit of a layoff, how Creighton comes out, especially when they come to bat. Swinging the bat seems to be the thing that they've done really well in the early part of this season. They've scored a ton of runs, leading the conference in batting average, slugging percentage, runs scored per game. But that's kind of the skill that can go away when you have to knock off the rust, is seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand and getting that bat off the shoulder. Defensively, I think it's more of an instinct thing, so that shouldn't be a big question. I think the question is, how does either team swing the bat today?
Brianna Clark with a count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looking for the first out of the game. Count runs full. That's a good game opening at bat by Emily.
Providence, despite their struggles, they come into this one having broken a 9-game losing streak with back-to-back wins against Georgetown to open their conference slate.
Punched on the ground, foul outside third, so Lee continues to be a pest.
And this is kind of what you want if you're Providence. You want to start this game with a tough at-bat, not go out and, a first ball pop fly, something of that nature, just to kind of give the rest of that lineup a little bit of extra confidence coming in.
Lee will see at least one more, although she's being called out. She must have stepped out of the front of the box while running up there. So, 1 out in the first.
And a good start for the Blue Jays.
Nice.
It looks like she just got that toe over the line.
It's a good call by plate umpire John Orlowski. being asked to explain by Providence's 13-year head coach. Apparently, I don't know if she's satisfied with the explanation she got, but she's given up the fight either way.
And those softball coaches, baseball coaches, I don't know if they're ever satisfied, even when a call goes in their favor with the explanations they get.
Ball one inside to Julianne Rorka. There's Carrie Jacklitz, 13th season as the head coach of these Providence Friars. She pitched for Providence in her collegiate playing days. 2-0 on Rorka.
And an all-female staff for Providence, which is something we don't see too often, but Carrie Jacklitz has assembled a staff of all women, and you know, it's a welcome sight here in the women's game.
Tough pitch there from Clark to tie Rorka up. 2 balls and a strike. That one just off the inside. 3 balls and a strike to Rorka. Tosh Caulfield at third base, still playing very shallowly.
Well, it looks like Clark is really working counts here early on. Just trying to get these Providence hitters to swing at some pitches out of the zone, and that one does just catch the plate.
Rorka trying to sell a walk there, but has to come back for a 3-2.
And I think that's probably a good strategy for Clark, knowing a team that struggles offensively like that. Don't give them anything to hit. Make them go and chase things as they maybe press a little bit with their early season struggles.
Couple long at-bats for Providence to start this one. Another 3-2, and there's another little dribbler foul. So first Lee, and now Rorka extending the pitch count early on for Brianna Clark. In the first of 2 games this afternoon, sun just coming fully out. Been very nice here in Omaha the last couple days. Another 3-2. Line deep to right field. Back on it is Cantu, and it's off her glove, and then it disappears through that gate, and that should be out of play. It is. That'll be a ground rule double. Well, Cantu almost made a sensational catch, and if her glove hadn't been there, I think that would have gone over the fence. It would have been very close. So Cantu may have saved a home run, but could not quite record the catch.
It goes the other way with it, does Rorka. And Cantu's right there, and it just doesn't quite sink into that pocket of her glove, and then somebody forgot to lock the gate out in right field.
Well, and you wonder, too, if that gate hadn't given way behind her, if she might have held onto the ball. I think that was part of what knocked it loose.
She's expecting to absorb contact from the wall and then falls kind of straight through it. Glove comes down a little bit, ball falls out.
Brittany Wheeler now takes a strike. So a great job by Cantu to at least keep that ball in play. It was a great at-bat, though, by Rorka. Working all those pitches and then driving one the other way. Wheeler, meanwhile, tied up by another inside fastball, and she's down 0-2.
A lot of inside stuff early from Brianna Clark. She's really forcing hitters to try and go the other way with it.
Very bent-legged stance by Wheeler. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One of the things we saw with Creighton last year, if you remember, Donnie, Brianna Clark was very good, but if teams could get to her, that's when the things started to unravel a little bit.
There's strike 3 call. Good one right at the knees. And so Wheeler is rung up. 2 down on the top of the first.
Good pitch by Clark to fool the hitter. Just working inside, and then puts a low one right down the middle.
Inning up to Vanessa Portillo, and she's hit by the pitch. So she heads to first, and Providence will have 2 on with 2 out. So again, you were mentioning it a moment ago, Brianna Clark trying to work inside quite a bit in this first inning, but too far in that time.
And not even a really deep inside stance from Portillo. She's kind of in the middle of the box, and that one just ran off the plate inside and turned her hip maybe slightly into it to catch a piece of the ball.
So Paige Moultrie bats. And that one is just inside. You have to wait for a moment with John Orlowski. When he does indicate a strike, it's a delayed call, so we have to pause a beat to see if it's a strike or not. 1-0 the count. And that one's right in there. 1-1.
A little pause for effect.
It's a very commanding strike call with that right fist.
Now with 2 on and 2 out. Big at bat right here.
Up the middle. Hole is plugged by the shortstop Hunt. It takes it to the bag. And so Brianna Clark works out of trouble in the top of the first. Strands a couple runners. Creighton will come up in the bottom half. Providence nothing. The Jays at the plate. When we come back here on GoCreighton.com. Providence held off the board in the top of this first inning. Now it's Creighton's turn to come up to bat for the first time today as we see their lineup here on the screen. Creighton off to a great start this year offensively, John.
And it starts at the top with Ashley Cantu. Leads this team in hits and runs scored. She's been very, very good in a follow-up to a second-team All-Big East season that she had in 2017, and it all starts at the top.
And it starts against Christina Ramirez, who's on the mound for Providence. You see Cantu showing bunt very early, running up to slap, but taking ball one. Cantu sets up in that bunt right away. And takes a strike. 1-1.
Cantu owns a .364 average on this season. You see it right there. Just 3 RBIs, but she scored 18 times.
Now she slaps it toward second. Quick play by Krista San Antonio, just in time. 1 out.
And we mentioned at the top, Donnie, that Providence had really struggled offensively, but their pitching had been okay, pretty decent. And there you see Christina Ramirez, 54 innings already on the season, 3.22, not a bad ERA. More strikeouts than walks.
Ball one to Sam Crowley. No score in the first. Crowley batting at .345 this year. Creighton have 6 players batting .300 or better. Inside for ball two.
The 11th start of the season for Christina Ramirez. She's gone complete 5 of those.
She's fallen behind 3-0 to Crowley. Crowley looks like she's taking all the way as Ramirez finds the zone.
Blue Jays were picked to finish 5th in the conference by the coaches at the outset of this one, and 11-10 coming into this game.
There's a base hit into center. First base runner of the game for Creighton is Crowley singles.
And they started the season on a tear and then just fell on some hard times in a couple of tournaments. that they went to, and now starting off the conference slate, hovering just above 500. See if this might be one of the surprise teams in the Big East this season. As we've said, leading the conference in a lot of offensive statistical categories.
Ramirez battling a little bit of control issues here in the first inning. Fell behind 3-0 to Crowley. That first one to Kelly Finan, not close.
Has issued 24 free passes on the season, so the control has been an issue. But she can also get the big out. 29 strikeouts on the season.
She tried to change up on Finan, who's hitting .340 as you see. She's behind 2-0, and now 3 balls and no strikes. So back-to-back hitters she's gone 3-0 on. And you see her catcher, Jackie Martin, calling time and jogging out to the circle. So Ramirez, we've seen her go for a lot of pacing walks between pitches already. And misses badly again. Ball 4. Creighton have 2 on with 1 out.
Hope Moreno, she's got the ability to drive the ball. Got some pop in the bat, so this could be a big opportunity to start fast here for Creighton. 7-4 on the season when they score first.
Moreno takes on the inside corner, 0-1. There's a good first pitch from Ramirez to jump ahead of a batter for the first time. .368 that average for Moreno. It's a gauntlet in this Blue Jays lineup. And she pokes one on a diving stop by the shortstop Portillo, but has no further play. So an infield hit for Moreno. I don't know if Brent Vignes would have sent Crowley around third if that ball had gotten through. You saw the left fielder Wheeler, who would have been right there to back it up. But the Jays in business. 3 straight have reached. It's Crowley at third, Finan at second, Moreno at first, and Jayci McGill coming up with the bases full.
Just got to put one in play, and you're probably going to score one.
McGill takes up and in. She's on an 11-game hitting streak coming into this one. Saw her batting .320 on the season.
Also going to be important for McGill to just be patient. We've seen Martinez kind of put the ball all over the place, so a walk is an RBI in this situation.
See Carrie Jacklitz, the head coach, out to the mound to talk with her pitcher. Christina Ramirez does not look comfortable at all in this first inning.
Oh, you could say that again, Donnie. She's just been kind of really missing the zone a lot. I already had one conference with her catcher, and now the head coach wants to come out and have a little discussion as well and see what happens if she can work out of this jam and keep herself in this game.
See Brent Vignes in his 25th year here at Creighton, 740 career victories. He had a little conference with his base runners. Now we're ready to go again, 1-0 on McGill. And she grounds one to first base under the glove of Rurka into right field. 1 run home. They'll hold everybody else up. Well, it looked like Rurka had a chance to make a play on that ball. Kind of got her feet stuck in position, and so it's 1-0 Creighton. As Crowley scored. Let's take another look at this.
Yeah, she's moving to her left, and the ball comes back to the right. And instead of moving her feet and trying to get the ball between the wickets, she tries to reach across the body, and that's always a tough play. It's hard to get that glove down and stop the ball when you're reaching across like that. She's got to move her feet and get into a good defensive position.
J.C. Sawyer is running at second in place of Kelly Finan. So Sawyer now at second. Finan is now at third. Moreno, the runner, pinch run for by Sawyer at second. So Finan at third, Sawyer at second, McGill following her RBI hit at first base. And Jordan Sturgeon grounds it to third. Mulry comes home, and it's dropped, and everybody's safe. Jackie Martin couldn't hold on to the ball. It was a good throw from Paige Mulry. And it's 2-0 Jays.
Yeah, the throw was right on line. And it looked like Martin just perhaps was shielded just enough by the base runner. Didn't quite get the glove on it cleanly. And not sure why she's attempting to go for the tag there either, Donnie. It's a force at home.
No, that's a mental mistake. I thought Providence had a real shot at a double play there, and I thought maybe Mulry might just step on third and either come home after that or maybe make the throw to first. Chose to come right to the plate, which isn't a bad play. It should have been a sure out. Now the umpires are conferring as you saw head coach Carrie Jacklitz come out and ask for the umpires to talk to each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure she ever had control of the ball in her glove, though, as she moved it to try and apply the tag.
And the call stands. Get another angle on this.
Good throw.
Maybe just a little bit to that home plate side, but good enough that it should have been handled.
Yeah, I don't know if she was initially going for the tag on a second look. Maybe she moved the glove down to try and regain control of the ball, but it just really never sunk into the pocket of that glove.
So Sawyer's now at third, McGill at second, Sturgeon at first, and there's ball one to Malia McKelvey.
And Blue Jays with a chance to really put this game almost to bed early.
Yeah, as much as Providence has struggled to score this year, they're not a team that can afford to dig themselves big holes. And there's ball two. Still, Christina Ramirez not looking confident in that circle. Grounder to second. San Antonio to first for the sure out, but another run scores. 3-0 Creighton as Sawyer carries in the run. There's the second out of the inning. McGill now to third and Sturgeon to second for Caitlin Hunt.
Well played at second base. Thought she might have had a look at two. Shortstop not covering quite in time. But just takes the sure out at first base and puts the second out on the Blue Jays.
It's like Michaela Pichar is going to pinch hit for Creighton here. So Pichar takes off speed for a strike. There's a line drive into left center for a hit. One run home. The second runner will be held at third as Brent Vignes put up the stop sign. It's 4-0.
Brent Vignes going for the jugular early. Brings in the pinch hitter with two outs. Picard delivers. Punches it right past the shortstop Portillo. And another run comes in.
So Creighton will send all 9 to the plate in this first inning. And Tosh Coffiel try to make it at least 5. Couldn't have asked for a much better start to your conference season than this first inning.
Looking pretty good right now.
Coffiel looks at a pitch outside.
Coffiel more the defensive third baseman. Good speed. And good defensive player. She gets on the base pass. She's a terror. Sometimes struggles to get aboard a little bit. Though last year she did lead. I believe she led the team in on-base percentage last year.
2-1. With Sturgeon at third and Picard at first. Off speed, runner going to second. Good throw, and safe is the call. Oh, that was close.
And I think that might draw the ire of Terry Jacklitz, because that was very close.
Get another look in that throw to second. A great throw right on the bag. It's a good slide.
The glove got stuck in the dirt as she was trying to apply the tag. I don't think she got it there.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's a good call. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, and boy, not a player you want to walk if you're Christina Ramirez, and they're loaded up again, and it's the top of the order again. Ashley Cantu bats for a second time this inning.
And the nightmare inning continues for Martinez. That's second free pass she's issued, giving up 4 hits, 4 runs now, and 2 outs with Creighton's best hitter on the young season at the plate.
Cantu grounded to second earlier this inning. You see, still hitting .358 on the year. And a chance to really bury Providence now in this first inning. Good first pitch, though, from Ramirez this time. Sturgeon at third, Picard at second, Caulfield at first, and an off-speed fools Cantu there, 0-2.
Well, for whatever reason, Martinez has Cantu's number so far today.
One slapped foul, and it stays no balls and 2 strikes. Christina Ramirez still trying to find her way through this first inning. Another 0-2 pitch in the dirt. Pretty good stop by Jackie Martin behind the plate.
And that one was ugly. That looked like it came out of her hand just way too soon and dribbled toward the plate.
Two and two. If you're going to be a leadoff hitter especially, you have to be good with 2 strikes. And Cantu extending this at bat.
I think Martinez really needs to go to work right here. Don't let the count run full.
But it does. 3 balls and 2 strikes, and nowhere to put Cantu.
Now the trouble is, now Cantu knows that she's looking for something right over the heart of the plate.
So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Grounded right to third. Good backhanded stab by Mulry. And that is the end of the first inning. But a great first inning for Creighton. They score 4. And at the end of 1, they lead Providence 4-0 here at the Creighton Softball Complex. Creighton now to a 4-0 lead as we start inning number 2 in game 1 of our doubleheader this afternoon. The Blue Jays batted for a long time in that first inning. Brianna Clark had to wait a while between pitches, but no rust at all as she hits the zone for strike 1 to Krista San Antonio.
Now with a 4-run lead, Brianna Clark just needs to come out and pound the strike zone against a team that, you know, as we've said so many times already, they haven't hit the ball well. Make them beat you. Don't give them anything to work with as far as free passes. Just let them put the ball in play and see what happens.
1-1 on San Antonio. And now 1-2 as Clark changed up. Wind is blowing out toward left field today. Fairly gentle breeze. And there's a jumping catch at second by Jayci McGill. Off the bat, it looked like that'd head to right center field, but San Antonio a little jammed, and McGill able to go up the ladder to make the catch, so 1 away.
Good job by McGill to stay back on it and just be patient. That ball, it looked like a liner off the bat, but just hung up in the air ever so slightly. Gave McGill a chance to play it.
Molly McGarry takes ball 1 inside. McGarry has not played a lot so far this year. It's the 6th game in which she's appeared. Only her 3rd start. She's 0 for 4 at the plate, looking for her first hit of the season. And she's ahead 2-0. Talk about those shutdown innings after your team hangs a crooked number. This would be one of those for Clark. 2-1. So important to maintain momentum for your team after you've gotten off to a good start. And the Blue Jays were supposed to open conference play at St. John's last week. Here is a foul ball, 2-2. That trip got snowed out with that big snowstorm on the East Coast last week. So this is the conference opener for Creighton, and chance to get off to a really positive start in league play. Two and 2 on McGarry. And now 3-2.
Good job by McGarry working the count, staying alive with that foul ball. And now brings herself a full count and an opportunity to get on base.
Payoff pitch. We'll do it again.
A good cut by McGarry right there. Just a touch behind it.
There's ball 4 high, so not at all what Clark wanted to do. A free base runner for Providence. She hit a batter in the first inning and now issues her first walk.
Jordan Sturden wants to have a little conversation with her pitcher. Perhaps asking her to just settle it down, keep the ball down in the zone, and let's play softball.
Jackie Martin next for the Friars. And puts down a bunt. Fielded by Moreno, who tags her out. As McGarry moves to second. 2 out in the inning.
Creighton saw the bunt coming all the way as Moreno was charging on the play. There to scoop it and tag the runner out. It does move the base runner up, and a runner in scoring position now. Rurka got to second base in the first. Unable to do anything from that spot.
0-1 to Mackenzie Compton, sophomore center fielder. Compton just a 204 average on the year. 1-1. Compton with 2 runs batted in. Outfield playing her fairly deep. Good cut there, but it's 1-2.
That jammed inside. That one come off the handle and straight back. Clark needs to go to work here and just get out of this inning.
Providence have a player warming up in their bullpen beyond center field, by the way. Here's ball 2 low. Now that might be their starting pitcher. Christina Ramirez trying to lock in her commands. Tough to see from back here behind home plate who exactly is.
It's 24 out there, Donnie. That's Ramirez.
And a full count now on Compton. Yeah, Ramirez looked really out of sorts in that first inning, so maybe trying to hone in her mechanics between frames. And teammates trying to give her some run support. 3-2 pitch to Compton. In the air to center. Crowley has a play, and that's the inning. So Clark works around the one-out walk, strands a runner at second. The Blue Jays maintain a 4-0 lead after an inning and a half. Four 4-0 Creighton, and it came as a result of this first inning in which they scored 4 times and allowed Christina Ramirez no let-up from 1 through 9 in that order.
Well, when you get 4 hits and you score 4 runs, your offense is pretty efficient, and it was also due to a couple of mistakes defensively by Providence. Just not real sound in that first inning.
And now the Blue Jays batting in the bottom of the second inning, and a new pitcher on the mound on the circle for Providence, who promptly hits Sam Crowley on the first pitch of the inning. So not a good beginning for Megan McCune.
Just 1 inning of work for Christina Ramirez. The final line for her: 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned. Issued 2 walks in that one frame. So probably going to be about the shortest inning or shortest outing of the season for Ramirez. Just the 1 inning of work, but she just obviously did not have it today, and McCune will try to come in and lock this thing down the rest of the way.
Kelly Finan up there. She drew a walk in the first. Takes ball 1 here. So Crowley at first base after being hit on that opening pitch. Finan takes ball 2. Well, first it was Ramirez in that first inning, and now McCune falling behind hitters. 2-1 now. Doesn't matter if it's baseball or softball. If you're constantly pitching from behind in the count, not a good recipe for success.
Well, it just gives the hitter such an advantage. You don't have any more balls to waste. They know that it's got to come over the plate.
There's a slow ball that's a little high. So 3-1.
And we'll see what the sign is here, but I would expect that Finan's going to be taking all the way.
Well, she's swinging, and she pops one up to left. Vilar puts it away. 1 out.
Looked like a good pitch to swing at. Just a little bit under it was Finan. A nice play in the outfield made by Wheeler. Brings up Hope Moreno.
Moreno singled last inning. Jumps back, but a strike called.
Fooled a bit by that pitch off the inside corner of the plate. Now it looks like McCune pitching from ahead for the first time here today.
And she's ahead 0-2. Does look like John Orlowski is giving that inside corner in these opening innings. He's been giving it both ways.
Man, Brown Clark has been living on that inside corner.
That one lined into right center. Cut off in the alley by Lee, going first to third Crowley, and she stops there on a ringing single by Moreno. And the Jays in business again, first and third with one out.
Well, no sooner spoken. McCune puts Moreno in an 0-2 hole, and then Moreno says, I'll take that one, and drives it into the gap. A well-hit ball. One of those seeing eye singles that just finds a home. Now Crowley standing on third. Chance to open this thing up even further.
Jayci McGill trying to do that. She takes strike one. McGill extended her hitting streak to 12 straight with her single in the first inning. Later scored. Knocked in a run with her base hit as well. Trying to knock in at least another. 1-1. There's the change, and that's called strike two.
And you saw McGill, she just was completely fooled by the pitch. Made a flinch at it early, but then realized that she was going to be way in front and kept the bat on her shoulder.
In the foul territory, that finds its way out of play, landing on top of the Blue Jays dugout. Not a ton of foul ground here. So 1-2 on McGill. McCune throws one that's lined to the left for a base hit. 5-0 Creighton. Crowley scores. McCune tried to go back to that changeup, and this time McGill was not fooled.
Yeah, you saw her, she kind of did the flinch again, but kept the hands back and then got the barrel to it and smoked one into left field. Take a look here. She starts and then just pauses ever so slightly to keep her hands in front of the ball. Well done. Nice piece of hitting by Jayci McGill.
That's such good body control to be able to stop yourself and restart and keep that good swing path and hit a solid line drive. Still just one out in the inning. Blue Jays threatening to completely run away with this. Sturgeon, though, chases one at the letters for strike one. Jordan Sturgeon bounced into a fielder's choice in the first. One ball, one strike. So Providence made the pitching change. So far, Megan McCune has not had a lot more success than Christina Ramirez did in the first inning. That one fouled right over our heads, 1-2.
McCune hasn't had the trouble finding the strike zone like Ramirez did for sure. He's just had trouble missing bats.
Now she's able to put Sturgeon away there with a good fastball. And that's the second out.
First strikeout recorded by either pitcher for Providence here today. And now a chance to get out of this inning with limited damage from McCune.
Malia McKelvey looks at ball one. McKelvey knocked in a run with an RBI ground out in the first. Moreno at second, McGill at first. And that one fouled away to even the count. Orlowski picking up a new shipment of softballs from the third base dugout. And with those neon green softballs. Now one over the head of the catcher, Martin, who retrieved it and threw to third, and that was a good stop by Paige Mulry. Ill-advised throw by Martin, as Marino was easily into third. That could have gone down the left field line. So they're at second and third with two out on the wild pitch. That one just seemed to slip out of McCune's hand. 2-1 the count, and now 3-1.
And you're right, Donnie. That was just an ill-advised throw down. Had absolutely no chance to get the runner. And only bad things could happen on that play. But a good play over at third by Mulry to keep it from squirting into the outfield.
Well, an inadvertent check swing foul ball by McKelvey, and that's a break for McCune. That would have been ball four.
It would have been ball four, and it would have been bases loaded to bring up the number 8 hitter in the order.
So a full count. And strike three call. Good fastball to the outside corner, rings up McKelvey. So McCune able to limit Creighton to 1 run here in the second. But at the end of 2, they stretch their lead over Providence to 5-0 here in Omaha. Five-0 Blue Jays, top of the third here at the Creighton Softball Complex. It's the top of the order for Providence here in the third against Brianna Clark. I'm Donnie Barnes along with John Schreiner. Clark allowed a double in the first inning, has also hit a batter and walked another, but has stranded 3 base runners. And starts the third with a pitch slapped foul down the left field line by Emma Lee.
And back to the top of the order for Providence. Second time through seeing Clark. You got to get something done now. You know what she's about. She's going to work the corners, change speeds a little bit. But for Providence to get back into this thing, it's got to start right now with your top of the lineup starting this third inning.
1-1 to Lee, who had a long at bat in the first inning before eventually striking out. Wind has shifted a little bit, now breezing gently out towards center field. That one's in the air to left. Finan crossing the foul line. Makes a two-handed catch. 1 out.
Well, that's not the start that Providence had envisioned to this third inning, but for the hometown Blue Jays, it's another first batter out. Third consecutive inning that the first player up to the plate has been put out. So those are the things you want. When you get that first out on the first batter, And you make the team play with only 2 outs remaining, it really shortens things and makes it difficult to score runs.
Especially against a team that hasn't scored many runs in general this year. 1-1 on Julian Rorka, who doubled in the first inning for Providence's lone hit thus far. There's a liner to second, off the glove of McGill. And Rorka will reach. That will likely be an E4. Hard hit, but a play that Jayci McGill would probably expect to make.
Yeah, it's a tough play, but it's a makeable play. And we will see what happens. And can't really tell on the scoreboard right now where that was scored, but you see the replay right there and just off the edge of the glove.
Looks like that's being scored an error, so E4. 1 on, 1 out. Brittany Wheeler ahead in the count 1-0. She struck out looking in the first. Tied up now, loops one towards short. The throw to second is just in time. Caitlin Hunt able to sling it to McGill. Close play at second, but Rorka is nipped for the second out.
Just a little looper on the infield. Finds a hole, but good play to just snow cone that ball and get the out at second base.
Vanessa Portillo takes one right down the middle. So Providence have had a base runner in each inning, but haven't been able to build a big rally yet. And now 0-2 on Portillo.
And there's that inside corner once again, and Clark has done a good job of recognizing where the strike is being called. And hitter's just not adjusting to that strike zone quite yet.
And she went around, strike 3 on a changeup off the outside. Good work by Brianna Clark. She gets around that error. She keeps Providence off the board, and it's still 5-0 Creighton.
Outdoor advertising works around the clock.
5-0 Blue Jays as you look at the beautiful campus of Creighton University. Bottom of inning number 3 begins with Caitlin Hunt at the plate and fouls one back. On the first pitch from Megan McCune, who took over in the circle in the second inning after Christina Ramirez struggled mightily in the first, allowing the first 4 runs. First at bat for Caitlin Hunt, she was pinch hit for in that opening frame. 1-1.
And McCune really settled in at the end of that second inning, struck out the last 2 Blue Jays to get those 2 outs. See if she can continue that here, if the Blue Jays keep putting runs up on the board as they have throughout the early part of this season.
Hunt was trying to bunt on that 1-1 pitch, couldn't quite put it down, so 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's hard to believe, Donnie, we're not yet to April, and both of these teams have played more than 20 games.
There's a swing and a miss, and McCune maybe finding the range now. That's 3 straight strikeouts for her. She struck out the last 2 batters in the last inning.
Good pitch here from McCune. Just misses the bat. Leaves this one a little bit outside. Might have been called a ball. Hunt liked the way it looked and took a cut.
Tosh Caulfield drew a walk in that first inning. Now lines one to third, picked off by Paige Mulry. Good play, 2 out.
Well, a 3-up, 3-down inning here for McCune would be just monstrous for Providence. Get the bats back in their hands after they came up short in inning number 3 and see if they can get back into this one. But for Creighton now, it's, this could be a lot worse. They've stranded 5 base runners in 2 innings and haven't really taken complete advantage. They do have a 5-run lead. Don't want to sell that short. That's big. But this game could be just about over at this point.
No balls and a strike to Ashley Cantu, already batting for a 3rd time. She batted twice in that first inning. And Christina Ramirez got her twice for 2 of the 3 outs she recorded. Down the left field line, that is a foul ball. Sprawling effort by Brittany Wheeler as it landed just to the left of that chalk line. And apparently, Cantu must have stepped out of the box. She's being called out, so the inning is over. Take another look on the replay. And maybe that inside foot as she ran up to slap that ball. So, 3 up and 3 down indeed for McCune in this bottom of the 3rd. And we'll head for inning number 4 in Omaha. Creighton 5, Providence nothing. Here on GoCreighton.com. Top of the 4th, 5-0 in favor of Creighton, the beautiful quad on the campus of Creighton University in Omaha. Let's take another look at that last play in the bottom of the 3rd as Ashley Cantu was called out for stepping just slightly out of the box. And we got some clarification on that rule between innings, John, and the new rule this year, as we'll get to that after this first pitch, which is a strike to right-handed batting Paige Mulry. The new rule this year, as a hitter, if you step even the slightest bit out of that batter's box, even if it's just with one toe, you're out.
You're called out, and it doesn't matter how many strikes are on you. And it goes down as a catcher's put out unassisted.
So 2 unassisted on that last play, and that was what happened to Emily in the first inning for Providence as well. Had a play here from Mulry. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brianna Clark throwing it well thus far.
As our producer Joe Willman points out, if you look down at that right-handed batter's box, there's not much of a box down there anymore.
It's true. Yes, that's a call you might see more in the first couple innings of a game. It'd be awfully tough to make that call now. Poked at third. Caulfield is there. And plenty of time for the first out of the inning.
That pitch was really low and totally fooled Mulry, but she was already committed to it. Just had to go through with it, and As it turned out, a soft roller to Cafiel, who knew exactly what to do with it.
Krista San Antonio lined out to second her first time up, and she's clipped by that pitch. So she reaches base this time. That's the second hit batter for Brianna Clark today.
Well, when you're working the inside of the plate, as Clark has throughout much of this game, it's just the cost of doing business. You're going to hit a few, and you just hope that it doesn't come back to bite you. And perhaps, an adjustment made by the Providence hitters, noticing that Clark is working inside. Maybe they step a little closer in, a little tighter in that batter's box, and see if they can't draw some freebies.
1-0 to Molly McGarry. Clark walked her in the second inning. Two balls and no strikes. Creighton 4 in the first, 1 in the second. They've out-hit Providence 6-1. And now 3-0 to McGarry.
They're trying to get McGarry to swing at something inside, and McGarry, the designated player, just not having any of it.
See if she's taking on 3-0. She is, and it's low, ball 4. So 2 on for Providence with 1 out here in the fourth.
Had this situation in the first when Portillo was hit by a pitch and Rurka moved over to second. And were unable to do anything with that.
Jackie Martin, the number 8 hitter, trying to get the Friars back in this one. And this time, Clark jumps ahead in the count.
That's where Clark wants to be. It's for her being ahead in the count, then she can start working that inside of the part of the plate, make hitters guess at where that ball's going to end up.
Tough pitch, call the ball, 1-1. Providence have not been able to find a lot of those big multi-run hits so far this year. They're probably going to need a couple if they're to come back in this game.
Defensively for Creighton, corners are in.
That one wide of that corner, tricky play. They're going to have no play as Hunt tried to get over and cover first, but much too late. Moreno pulled out of position from first base as she went to her right. He wasn't sure if McGill was going to come get that ball, and so they're loaded up for Providence.
This is just a ball in a weird spot with the corners in. Pulls the first baseman, Moreno, out of position, and Clark a little slow getting over. Now the bases are full. Providence, with one swing of the bat, could be right back in this game, a game that looked like they were way out of.
It's an infield hit for Jackie Martin. Mackenzie Compton will be at the plate as we see Brianna Clark's pitching line so far today. Only the 2 hits, but 2 walks plus a couple hit batters. And in trouble for the first time with 3 on and 1 out. The number 9 hitter, Mackenzie Compton, is at the plate for Providence. Big hit here could change the whole complexion of this game. There's a good pitch to start the at-bat from Clark, 0-1.
And this is where you start to talk about for Creighton, those 5 stranded base runners come back, and I'm sure Brent Vignes is just sitting there in the dugout thinking in the back of his mind, man, we could have 5 more runs right now.
Compton in the air to left, pretty deep. Finding back, and it's off the wall. The runners had to hold initially. Now 2 are coming to the plate. The second runner, McGarry, as the ball is held up, she slides in and scores. It's a 2-run double for Compton, and Providence have life. It's 5-2. And Kelly Finan had all kinds of problems with that ball in the air there.
A well-hit ball. Finan just had to check where the wall was. And perhaps just a little bit of inexperience back there, because normally you want, when you're an outfielder, you keep your eye on the ball and you feel with your feet when you get to that track. You don't take your eye off and look where you're running to the wall, and that's what happened with Finan right there. Just a little fundamental error that caused her to lose track of that ball.
So it is a single for Compton, who had to hold at first base there. Again, all three runners had to hold for a while to see if that ball was going to be caught or not. But San Antonio and McGarry did cross the plate eventually. Martin had to hold at second. So the lead is 3 for Creighton. You saw Brent Vignes out at the mound, and you see Kelly Finan talking about that play with their teammates in center field. Not an easy play, we should say.
Certainly not. When a ball's hit that high and you have to track back towards the wall, it's only natural to want to know where that wall is, but that's what the warning track is for.
Now Emma Lee, the leadoff hitter, still with just 1 out in the inning, takes ball 1. Lee was called out for stepping out of the batter's box in the first and then fouled out to left field in the third. 2 balls and no strikes. Tying run at the plate for the Friars. Brianna Clark collecting herself behind the rubber, now back on it. And hits that outside corner with a perfect pitch. 2-1.
Big at bat right here for Clark. Giving up a couple of runs here. 2 more aboard. Keep yourself with a 3-run advantage right here.
Boy, 2 picture-perfect offerings in a row from Clark to even the count now at 2-2. Julianne Rurka on deck for Providence, but it's all about Lee and Clark at the moment. The 2-2 pitch. That one just off the outside. Full count. Huge pitch coming up. Outfield is toward the left for Creighton. The corner's still shallow in the infield. And here is Clark's 3-2 pitch. On the ground to short, under the glove of Hunt, into left center, around third Martin, and she scores. It's 5-3, and Caitlin Hunt maybe thinking about what she was going to do with that ball before she came up with it. It went right between the feet. What are they going to call here? The runners are being sent back, apparently. Did they call runner interference? Let's take a look at the replay.
Did the ball clip? No, it didn't.
There's no way that hit her feet.
No, it would have changed direction. So did the run come off the board?
Well, the run is on the board right now.
But the runners were sent back.
There's a line drive, just foul down the left field line.
Interesting.
By Julianne Rurka. We're totally confused as to what the situation is. Is it still 5-2? Scoreboard showing 5-3. Nobody here in the press box is quite sure what was called there. So Martin is back at second.
And we don't know what the score is.
Yeah, Compton is back at first. We don't know if there are 2 outs or 1 out. Here's the pitch. And that one's on the inside corner. So 0-2. We do know Julianne Rurka is at the plate. Oh, 2 pitch is outside 1-2. We're hearing that the score is 5-2, so I believe they have taken that run off the board.
And it should be 2 outs then, correct?
Yeah, if they're calling, maybe they called the batter for stepping out of the box. Maybe it was another one of those calls. Here's a deep drive to left center, way back toward that wall, and it's gone! A 3-run homer for Julianne Rurka. And Providence have come all the way back. From 5-0 down, the Friars have erased that deficit in one inning. And it's 5-5.
What a swing by Rurka. Pitched just a little bit down in the zone. Got all the barrel on the ball. Right out into left center. Just where that high wall meets the low wall. And well gone.
And again, John, you're talking about those runners the Blue Jays left on in the first 2 innings. Had a chance to put this game away early. Let Providence hang around, and it is anyone's game now. So Rurka now 2 for 3 today with a double and a 3-run homer. Brittany Wheeler is the 8th batter of this inning. 1-1.
Such a weird inning.
Yeah, and if not for that second out that was gifted to Creighton, this could be a lot worse for them. 2 balls and a strike on Wheeler, who was struck out and hit into a fielder's choice.
Now, if you're Creighton, I mean, you can take a little comfort in the fact that you've been able to do basically whatever you've wanted offensively. You've stranded a few, but have had no trouble getting aboard. Still some discussion up here in the press box as to exactly how this is going to be scored.
Just outside to Wheeler and a full count.
Runner interference would be a brutally tough call, because I don't think the ball had any chance to touch the foot of Jackie Martin.
Yeah, if they called the runner for interfering with the fielder, that wouldn't make sense because she was crossing well behind her. If they called her for having the ball touch her, it pretty clearly didn't on the replay. Unless there's a different rule that was invoked there that we're not aware of. 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Good changeup from Clark to end the inning. But Providence get all 5 runs back, highlighted by the 3-run homer off the bat of Julianne Rurka. Halfway through game 1 of our doubleheader this afternoon. It is anybody's ball game now. 5-5 in Omaha.
Creighton University would like to thank Medical Alone for providing
Big 4th inning for the Friars. 5 big runs. The first one, that little defensive error out in left field by Finan, leads to the first runs coming in for Providence. And from there, they started doing work with the bats, and it was the big fly from Rurka that got this game back to 5s. And Providence starting to have a little belief out there now.
So at the bottom of the 4th, Creighton trying to regain some control of this game, at least untie it again. Sam Crowley will be followed by Kelly Finan and Hope Moreno. Here is strike 1 from Megan McCune. Okay, so some clarification on that call that everybody was so confused by in the top of this inning. Emma Lee was called for being out of the box for a second time. Here's a bunt foul by Crowley. So that is why the runners were sent back. So Emily, again, we talked last inning about that rule being called much more tightly this year, how the rule has been changed. It used to be you had to step entirely out of the batter's box to be called for that. And now if your toe is even a little bit outside the lines, you are supposed to be called out by the plate umpire. And John Orlowski has been calling that really tightly in this game. It's the 3rd time he's invoked it, as the count is 1-2 on Crowley. And John, you were mentioning last inning that the lines in the batter's boxes on both sides have been almost completely wiped out. which makes you wonder
exactly
how do you call that? What are you basing that on? Here's strike 3 as Crowley chased one up the ladder. She's retired for the first time today.
Well, how about McCune coming in and just mowing down Blue Jays? That's her 4th strikeout since coming into this game.
Yeah, Megan McCune doing a great job in relief. Came in the 2nd inning after Christina Ramirez struggled in the 1st. We'll get another look at that play in the top of this inning.
And it's that back foot. She swings it across and just does. Looks like she steps out of the front.
This ball is blasted foul by Kelly Finan. The count is 1-1.
But again, how do you tell?
Yeah, so that was Emma Lee again, who's been called for that twice in 3 at-bats today. Big break for Creighton. It may well have been the correct call, even though it's tough to tell. Again, that top of the 4th could have been much worse for them if it hadn't been called. 1-2 now on Finan.
That rule is a big detriment to those slap hitters like Emily, who like to take off running as soon as they make contact with the ball. They're going to have to tighten that up.
2-2 on Finan, who's walked and flied to left field today. We can't see much of the Blue Jays bullpen beyond the center field wall, but it does look like a right-hander is warming. There's a changeup that's fought off by Finan.
And that changeup for McCune comes in so slow.
It's almost like the equivalent of an ephus pitch in baseball. You see a pitcher warming up for Providence as well. 3-2 now on Finan. So 3-2 still on Finan, who is battling with McCune with 1 out in this 4th inning. And grounds another one foul. It's kind of a bat you need when the momentum has swung against your team.
Sure.
Grind 1 out, make the opposing pitcher who's cruising work a little bit. Maybe see if you can find your way on base to slow down that momentum. Three-two again. Deep to right field. Back on it is Lee. She's there, though, and she's got it right in front of the track. Good at bat by Kelly Finan, but there are 2 out.
Well, McCune now working on a 2nd straight 3 up, 3 down inning. She's set down now 7 Blue Jays in a row. Gave up a run right away when she came into this game in the 2nd inning, but 2 strikeouts to end the 2nd. Now 2 quick outs here in the 4th.
1 ball, no strikes to Hope Moreno, who's 2 for 2 today. She singled twice, scored a run, average up to 390. 1-1. That one's deep to left center. Moving over, though, is Compton, and she makes the play on the warning track. So Creighton hit a couple balls well in this 4th inning, but it turns into another 1-2-3 frame for Megan McCune. She's now set down 8 in a row. She's helped her team get back in this game. We go to the 5th and a 5-5 tie. Well, Providence now have the momentum as we head for the 5th inning in Omaha. It's a 5-5 tie. Creighton led 5-0 after 2 innings and after 3, but Providence hanging a 5 spot there in the 4th to jump right back in it. And now the Blue Jays have gone to the bullpen for the 5th inning as Kylie Miller comes to the circle.
Kylie Miller comes in, final line for Brianna Clark. 4 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs. She walked 2, struck out 3, and hit a couple of batters.
And that comeback for Providence in the 4th inning started with a hit batter and a walk. And you talked about it in the 1st inning today, John, against a team in Providence who have struggled to score runs this year, who have not hit well at all. The last thing you want to do is hand them base runners and start a rally for them. And unfortunately, that's exactly what Clark did in that 4th inning, and it led to 5.
Yeah, it's a recipe to losing to a team who hasn't been good offensively.
Vanessa Portillo takes strike 1 on Miller's first pitch of the afternoon.
And now the trouble you find yourself in, and you've lost all the momentum. 5 innings, or 5 runs in 2 innings in this game. Had everything working in your favor. Looked like no chance for Providence to get back into this thing. You're putting runners aboard left and right. And suddenly, the wind has shifted now, and it's all in the sails of the Friars.
I'm not sure how Portillo fouled that pitch off. She stays alive at 0-2. That ball might have hit her if she hadn't hit it first.
I think that might have come off the nub on the bat. She did get a little piece of the handle to it, and it came in off the inside of her thigh.
Another one up and in, and she fights that one off too.
Portillo's been the best hitter for the Friars on the season, 278 average coming in.
Today she's been hit by a pitch and struck out looking. Another 0-2, and she fouls another one off. There's a player heading down toward the bullpen for Providence.
I don't know why. Why would you go away from McCune right here? She's set down 8 in a row, as you said.
There's strike 3 on a pitch in the dirt, and the out completed to first by Jordan Sturgeon. So 1 away. Good start for Kylie Miller.
Second brings out third baseman number 10, Paige Mulry.
So there will be action in the Providence bullpen in just a moment. So 0-1 to Paige Mulry, who is grounded out twice. I believe that's Miranda Trinidad, who is down in the bullpen for Providence. In any case, 5-5 here in the 5th as Mulry tries to reach for a first time. Kylie Miller looking pretty good so far. She's ahead 0-2 on Mulry.
Miller came in and just does what you need to do out of the bullpen against Providence. Throw strikes. Just put the ball over.
Try to get her to chase off the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Krista San Antonio on deck. Creighton 4 in the first, 1 in the second. Providence 5 in the 4th. Game 1 of our doubleheader today. There's a blast down the left field line, but that's hooked foul.
Tell you what, Donnie, we've seen these Providence hitters really put some heavy-duty swings on balls that have been just out of play. And, of course, Rurka with the big fly in that 4th to tie the game. They've shown the ability to hit the ball deep.
We've seen, too, a lot of times where they've been down a couple quick strikes and have at least been able to extend at bats by fouling a lot of pitches off. Mulry doing that here. 2-2 pitch, and she fouls another pitch away. So Miller trying to sit down Mulry, but misses high. 3-2.
Last thing you want to do here is put a runner aboard. It's been pretty much the only way that Friars have been able to get on base, and there's a big throw.
Well, Mulry probably chased ball 4 there. I don't know if that was the pitch Miller wanted to throw, but it works out. 2 down.
Second baseman number 6, Krista, San Antonio.
So that's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Creighton pitchers, the second in a row for Miller. Krista San Antonio takes strike 1. 6 hits for Creighton, 4 for Providence today. Went above the zone, 1-1. San Antonio hit a smash right at the second baseman McGill in the second inning. She was hit by a pitch, and that was what started that 5-run rally in the 4th inning as she later scored. 2 balls and a strike.
Sturgeon tried to frame that one on the outside corner, but it seems that John Orlowski's much more content to give the strike over the inside part than the outside.
That one chased by San Antonio. And a couple of those chasing swings this inning by Providence, 2-2.
And maybe just a little rush of blood to the head after 5 innings, or 5 runs in the last inning. Kind of take the lead with 1 swing.
Didn't chase there, though, and the count runs full again. They will appeal the check swing to first, but she did not go around. First base umpire Susan Eads confirming. 3 balls, 2 strikes. This will be big for Miller if she can come up with a 1-2-3 inning. Payoff pitch. Strike 3 call. And there is Kylie Miller shutting the door and keeping Creighton tied with a flawless inning. She strikes out the side in order. 4.5 complete at the Creighton Sports Complex. The Blue Jays and Friars even at 5. Even at 5, entering the bottom of the 5th inning here in Omaha.
Jayci McGill.
See that flag with the wind breezing out towards center. And Megan McCune still in the circle for Providence. Missing high, but check swing. Apparently a strike was called there on Jayci McGill. Donnie Barnes with John Schreiner. You see Jayci McGill 2 for 2 today with a couple RBI singles in those first 2 innings when Creighton built a 5-0 lead. And now drives one to right field, but back on it is Lee and holds it in shy of the track. 3 of the last 4 Creighton hitters now have hit one either right to or onto the warning track. But Megan McCune keeping it just off the barrel and keeping the ball in the park.
That's 9 in a row set down, and 4 of those have been strikeout victims. And the last 3 in a row have all been outfield flies.
Jordan Sturgeon's 0 for 2 today. Hit into a fielder's choice and struck out. 0-1 from McCune, who continues to get ahead on hitters.
She's just working the strike zone, just putting the ball over the plate, and for the most part, Creighton been unable to do much with it.
One on Sturgeon. Malia McKelvey on deck. Looked like the Blue Jays were going to bury Providence in the first 2 innings today. Not turned out to be the case at all. 2 balls and a strike.
A lot of fastballs here to start this 5th inning for McCune. We'll see if she comes back to that slow change we've seen so many times. McGill, you'll remember, last at bat, drove one into the outfield.
Went after one there, tried to hold up but couldn't do it. Would have been 3-1. Instead, it's 2-2. Saw a shot of that Blue Jay dugout a moment ago. A lot of tension on the faces of those Blue Jays. 3-2 now on Sturgeon. And they know how important it is to get off to a good start in conference play. What an opportunity this was and still is to do that. Turning out to be much less straightforward than it looked like it might be. 3-2 pitch. Grounded, just foul.
And Providence, after a really rough start to their season in the non-con, to come out and take 2 from Georgetown to start 2-0 in conference, that's big for their program as well.
And they're suddenly thinking today we could go 3-0. Of the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 call on that inside black. Megan McCune continues to set them down. That's 10 in a row and 2 out in the 5th.
5 strikeouts for McCune since she's come into this game, and right there. Starts it low with the rise ball, comes right up at belt level. Good pitch from McCune.
Leah McKelvey swings over the top of the first one. McKelvey trying to at least stop McCune's momentum a bit. Put somebody on base. The Blue Jays have not had a base runner since the 2nd inning.
Haven't had a ball hit on the ground in a long time.
There's that slow changeup, 1-1.
And then Jackie Martin stands up and kind of gave a shoulder shrug back to the mound. Like, what was that?
Well, McCune has been a big part of Providence getting back in this game. Keeping the Blue Jays at bay. And McCune, when she first came in the 2nd inning, she struggled initially. She hit Sam Crowley, remember, with her very first pitch. Then gave up a couple of singles and a run. So it was 5-0 Creighton with just 1 out in that 2nd inning. There's a little roller, wide of the circle. McCune is there. Another 1-2-3 inning for Megan McCune. She has retired 11 in a row. And we'll go to the 6th. Creighton and Providence still tied at 5. Into the late innings in game 1 of our doubleheader. Providence and Creighton tied at 5 as we look at downtown Omaha. It was 5-0 Creighton after 2 innings. Providence 5 runs in that 4th frame to tie things up. Now Providence seeking the lead, which they've not had today. Kylie Miller with her 2nd relief inning. Pitched to 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Pours one in there for strike 1 to Molly McGarry. Bottom 3rd of the order for Providence here in inning number 6. McGarry has reached twice with 2 walks. Boy, Jordan Sturgeon can't believe that wasn't called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
And I think that McGarry's going to have to work real hard if she's going to get a walk against Kylie Miller. Miller's come in and just hammered the strike zone.
Now 1-2. Kylie Miller has walked 24 batters on the year in just over 50 innings, so similar numbers in that department to Brianna Clark. Has looked sharp so far today. And there is strike 3 right at the knees. So the leadoff batter retired here in the 6th, and that's 4 batters faced and 4 struck out for Kylie Miller.
Yeah, and I think McGarry got into a little bit of a pattern there. You know, come up with 2 walks. You're maybe thinking, okay, I'm going to walk all day and just watch this one right by. It's a good pitch right down the middle. Great pitch to swing at. McGarry just couldn't pull the trigger.
Jackie Martin swings through strike 1. We're seeing relief pitchers be a big part of the storyline here in this game.
Well, pitching changes have worked for both sides here. McCune has come in and locked things down.
Up in the air, and a good play at the screen as Jordan Sturgeon had just enough room to haul it in with that basket catch. 2 out. Attempted bunt by Jackie Martin. Got underneath it.
Now, great job done by Kylie Williams in relief for Creighton. So, after both starting pitchers had seen their share of struggles, the bullpens have stepped up.
Number 9 hitter Mackenzie Compton, 1 for 2 with an RBI single in that 4th inning. 1-0.
And it was really just kind of the one bad inning for each pitcher. You had the starter, Christina Martinez, who just didn't have it in inning number 1, and then it was inning number 4 for Brianna Clark.
Another one right at the knees from Miller. 1 ball, 1 strike to Compton. Right to third. Caulfield was drawn in. Plenty of time. And a quick inning again for Kylie Miller. 6 up and 6 down for her to keep this one knotted at 5. Jays will try to find the go-ahead run when we come back. Five in the bottom of the 6th inning. Creighton have had 11 straight batters mowed down by Megan McCune. And McCune continues in the circle, and a pinch hitter for Creighton will try to halt this momentum. Courtney Sandell, who's batted .382 on the season. Only 34 at bats, but 13 hits. So she bats in the 8th spot for the first time today, trying to become Creighton's first base runner since the 2nd inning. McCune starts her with a pitch right on that outside corner.
And you see Sandell, if he wants to run and slap, he's got to be really careful because, as we know, the home plate umpire is calling that out-of-the-box rule very tight.
A 1 pitch, slapped at and missed, 0-2.
And the quick work continues for McCune. She has been on top of hitters for the last 2.5 innings from the jump.
She has 5 strikeouts so far. One hopper to third. Mulry across the diamonds in plenty of time. Make it 12 in a row for Megan McCune. We've been talking about that out-of-the-box rule. Let's look at Sandell from the side here. She clearly stays in. And again, you can't see the chalk lines at this point as Tosh Caulfield takes a strike. And we've seen that called 3 times in this game, twice against Providence. The batter stepping just barely out of that box while trying to run up and slap. Caulfield on the ground to the right side. Krista San Antonio, a wide throw. Good job by the first baseman, Rurka, to handle it and stay on the bag. 2 out.
The difference this inning, Donnie, is that Creighton's putting the ball in play on the ground at the very least, starting to perhaps adjust to McCune just a little bit and forcing the Providence defense to make plays. Problem is they've just made those plays.
There's a grounder to short. Portillo, another 1-2-3 inning for Megan McCune. 3 infielders in on the act. 5-3, 4-3, 6-3. And 3 up and 3 down go the Jays once again. We go to the 7th. Will we have a winner in regulation today? Providence hopes so after this. 5-5 in Omaha. Couple defensive changes for Creighton as we go to the top of the 7th in this 5-5 tie in game 1 of our doubleheader today. Courtney Sandell pinch hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. She has stayed in the game and is now in left field, while Kelly Finan moves from left field to shortstop.
Number 7 leading off, right fielder number 3, Emily.
Caitlin Hunt is off the field for now. Kylie Miller stays in the circle for Creighton. And a bunt attempt will appeal to third. She did attempt to bunt, and that is a pretty clear-looking strike. On leadoff hitter Emma Lee, who's been called out twice, again, for stepping slightly out of the batter's box today. She's 0 for 3. Trying to start what could be a game-winning rally for Providence. Final inning of our scheduled 7. Slap to second. An easy little shovel play for Jayci McGill. So 1 out.
We talked about how Megan McCune had come in and just set down Blue Jay after Blue Jay. Her tally's at 14 right now. How about Kylie Miller? That's number 7 in a row for her.
And strike number 1 to Julianne Rorka, who is the reason this game is tied at 5. Her 3-run blast in the 4th inning knotted it up. It's been that way ever since. It's also doubled and reached on an error, so Creighton have not gotten her yet today. She lines one foul down the right field line. More hard contact by Rorka. She's behind in the count now, 0-2.
Yeah, you like the way Rorka swings the bat. Just swings from the lower body, keeps those feet planted, drives up through the hips. A lot of power generated in that swing.
Miller. This is high, 1-2. Yes, we've seen 2 relief pitchers in this game. Combined 21 hitters in a row set down between the 2 of them currently. Battle of the bullpens. 1-2 pitch. Loop to center. In comes Crowley, and she's got it. So they finally retire Rorka. 2 out in the top of the 7th.
Well, the job for Miller now is just to get one more, send it to the bottom, and Give your team an opportunity to walk off.
Again, a second game to come following this first one after a brief break between the two. Brittany Wheeler hits one in the air to right. There's a play for Ashley Cantu on a 1-2-3 top of the 7th for Kylie Miller. These relievers continue to duel. 9 in a row set down by Miller. The Jays in the bottom of the 7th will have Crowley, Finan, and Marino 2 up with a chance to win it. Sam Crowley takes strike 1 as we begin the bottom of the 7th inning. Creighton need 1 run to win the opener of our doubleheader today. As Creighton led 5-0 after 2. Providence tied it with 5 in the 4th. Megan McCune has retired 14 in a row, and there's a fly ball foul to the left and 2 quick strikes on Sam Crowley, who's reached base twice in 3 at-bats today. A single, a hit by pitch, and a strikeout. You see that ball roll back down the roof to an alert fan down below.
Well, if we're going to end the game in one swing, Donnie, it's going to be right here. Crowley with 3 home runs on the year, Finan up next with 4. And then the third hitter, Moreno, she's got 1 on the season as well. This is the most powerful part of the lineup for the Blue Jays. It's exactly where you want to be in a tie ball game.
Yep, 2, 3, and 4 in the order. 1-2 pitch. And did it hit her? It did. And the winning run is aboard. And so McCune's batter's retired streak finally comes to an end. For the first time since the 2nd inning, Creighton have a runner on. And it's the winning run at first.
14 batters in a row she has set down without a base runner. Regardless of how this turns out, it's a great outing from Megan McCune.
Kelly Finan shows bunt, puts it down on the line, foul ball. Says John Orlowski, that was a great bunt. Finan might have beat it at first base. Looked like it was right along the chalk, but we're a little bit off to the side from our vantage point up here in the press box. And John Orlowski right on top of it, immediately called foul ball as soon as Jackie Martin picked it up.
How about Brent Vignes? Not afraid to sacrifice his most powerful hitter.
Again, she shows bunt, and this one is in play. Rourke makes the play to first with the second baseman San Antonio covering. So the sacrifice sends the winning run to second with 1 out. And Hope Moreno will have a chance to win it with a hit.
Crowley's a good base runner, good speed out at second base, so anything down into the outfield is going to be a close play, and Crowley's going to have a chance to score.
Moreno 2 for 3 today with a pair of singles. Oh, and leans back, fooled by an off-speed pitch that came back over the corner. 0-1.
Second time we've seen that today from Hope Moreno. That off-speed pitch is just not seeing it right.
McCune delivers. Line to short, knocked down and played by Portillo, who throws her out. Good play. That almost got between her feet, looked like. She was a little hesitant. But the 6-3 put out. Good base running by Crowley, too, to advance to third base. So the winning run now 60 feet away with 2 down in the 7th. And it will be up to Jayci McGill.
McGill started off the game hitting the ball really well. A single in the first and a single in the second. Her second single was off of Megan McCune.
First one to her this time is inside 1-0. A lot of pressure, too, on the catcher, Jackie Martin here, because if one gets by her, if it gets away, winning run could come home from third. Corners on the infield, a little shallow. And a swing and a miss. And a sinking off-speed pitch, 1-1. Nasty pitch there from McCune.
Yeah, we've seen McCune use the rise ball that starts low and comes up. That one just stayed down. McGill never had a chance.
The 1-1. Toward shortstop, Portillo sends this game to extra innings. So Creighton put the winning run on, but leave her at third. And we go to the 8th in game 1 of our doubleheader. It's Providence 5, it's Creighton 5, here on GoCreighton.com. We go to extra innings. Game 1 of this doubleheader today. Still trying to determine a winner between Providence and Creighton. You see the story there on the line score on that scoreboard. Creighton jumped on top with 4 in the first, 1 in the second. Looked like they'd run away with it. Not so. Providence tied it with 5 in the fourth. That's the last scoring we've had as strike 1 tossed by Creighton's reliever, Kylie Miller. She's done a tremendous job. Came on in the 5th inning, has retired all 9 that she's seen. Vanessa Portillo takes off the plate, 1-1. It's Portillo who helped send this game to extra innings by calmly making 2 plays at shortstop to end the bottom of the 7th and strand the tying run at third for Creighton. At the plate, she's been hit by a pitch and struck out twice. And the 1-1, fouled away, 1-2.
Said it last time she was up. She's been the best all-around hitter for Providence. Highest average on the team this season. Hasn't had a ton of success today, but still a dangerous at bat.
Shallow left field. Tricky play for Sandell, and it falls in. And into second goes Portillo. Courtney Sandell just lost that ball. And the shortstop Finan went out, but it was too far into left for her to make a play. Well, Sandell, who just came into left field last inning, it's good hustle by Portillo, too, to make sure she was on second.
I was just going to make that point, Donnie. That, you know, it's a pop fly. You don't think you're going to get much out of it, but Portillo keeps running and finds herself in scoring position with none away. Providence with a chance to make the big comeback right here and steal one from the Blue Jays.
It is scored a double. Nobody touched the ball defensively, so tough to give an error there. And Providence have Portillo at second, Paige Mulry at the plate. See head coach Carrie Jacklitz down the line from third. We're going to have a pinch runner at second. This is Annie Flago, who runs at second base. So a great opportunity for Providence, who have not led today. to take their first lead in extra innings. And let's see if Mulry is bunting here. She's 0 for 3. Corners are drawn in for Creighton. Mulry is not bunting, and a full swing foul tip off the mask of Jordan Sturgeon.
I think at this point, Providence is thinking that we're not just going to be satisfied with scoring a run and taking the lead. Not going to give away outs here. Just see how many we can put up if we can get some runs across and really nail down a win potentially.
Krista San Antonio on deck. This middle of the order has been a void for Providence today. This one is low. 1-1. The 4, 5, and 6 batters, Portillo, Mulry, and San Antonio, have gone a combined 0 for 8 with 1 hit by pitch. Mulry waits the 1-1. Pops it foul, out of play. Off first base, 1-2. Especially with a second game looming today, psychologically, this is so big for whichever of these teams could win this opener. 2-2 now on Mulry, especially if you're Creighton. The way you started this game, as in control as they were in the first 2 innings, it will be a big blow to lose this now. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Beautiful pitch from Kylie Miller. That is her 5th strikeout and the first out in the top of the 8th.
She's done a really nice job since coming in. And we hit it earlier. She had set down 9 in a row. That double by Portillo ended that, but comes right back after and gets a big strikeout.
Now nails the inner half of the plate for strike 1 on Krista San Antonio. It's gone 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch. But it was a big hit by pitch. It started that 5-run rally in the 4th.
And so much of pitching is mental toughness, of just being able to erase the last at bat, erase the last pitch, and make the next one count. Miller has certainly shown that ability right there.
5 straight strikes now for Kylie Miller. She's ahead 0-2 on San Antonio. Lego the runner at second. Fouled away. And between games today, we'll have a brief break before coming back with game 2 here on GoCreighton.com. 0-2 pitch in the dirt, knocked down, and the runner holds at second. Jordan Sturgeon, a tentative-looking block there. I think Flago thought about trying to advance to third, decided against it.
Yeah, not a great pitch there from Miller. One of those that slipped out of her hand, kind of bounced a couple of times before it got to the plate.
The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Foul tipped and held onto by Sturgeon. 2 away in the top of the 8th.
Nice little inward breaking pitch here. Starts it over the middle, comes back over the inner half, and well done to get the strikeout by Miller.
Her 6th strikeout since entering the game in the 5th inning. Now she sees Molly McGarry. And McGarry takes ball 1.
Well, the thing we know about McGarry is she will wait. She will wait and wait and wait and will not really swing at anything that's even close to out of the zone. She's going to make you pitch.
That one just under the knees, 2-0. McGarry's already walked twice. Then she struck out in the 6th, but as you said, very selective, and she's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Jackie Martin, the number 8 hitter on deck. At least in theory, she's not actually out there in the on-deck circle. There's one right down the gut, 2-1.
And here it is, 3 pitches. McGarry has yet to pull the bat off her shoulder.
Miller. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
This is kind of how her last at bat went. She let a couple of balls go by, and then Miller punches a strike past. Gets McGarry to swing at pitch number 4. We have a strikeout situation.
Now Jordan Sturgeon wants to make sure that she and Miller are on the same page. Got to make sure you have full conviction behind every pitch in such a tense situation. And it's the conference opener for Creighton since they were snowed out last weekend. 11-10 in non-conference play. Providence, they're trying to go to 3-0 in conference. Now here comes the 2-2 pitch. Just high. And a full count. A couple Creighton players were starting to head to the dugout there. They have to go back to their positions.
McGarry's just not going to take it. She's not going to swing at that pitch. She would rather let it go by than take a hack at it. We've seen it now in 4 at-bats.
3-2 again. It swung on and missed. Strike 3. And what great work again by Kylie Miller. After the misplay allowed the leadoff runner to reach second base, she comes back and strikes out the side to leave that runner right there and keep this game tied at 5. Another chance for Creighton to win it in the bottom of the 8th. Jordan Sturgeon due up when we come back. Bottom of the 8th in Omaha, tied at 5 between Providence and Creighton. And it remains Megan McCune in the circle for the Friars. This will be her 7th inning of relief today. And she starts it with ball 1 to Jordan Sturgeon, who is 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts.
Boy, what a change she has been from that first inning when Ramirez really struggled with all aspects of being out there in the circle. And McCune has just come in and locked it down. 7 innings. Given up 2 hits, 1 run, all of those coming in inning number 2.
Just 1 base runner for Creighton since that second inning. That was a hit batter last inning. Creighton left that possible winning run at third. 2 balls and a strike now to Jordan Sturgeon with Malia McKelvey and, in theory, Caitlin Hunt also due, although they pinch hit for Hunt twice in this game. So Creighton no hits since the second inning. And that's popped up off first. Rurka's right there, an easy first down.
Now we'll see Malia McKelvey up to the plate, and she's had a rough day. She's just not been able to get it going at the dish. But change the outlook and her remembrance of this one with 1 swing of the bat.
Just takes 1 sometimes. But not that one. 0-1. McKelvey did produce a run with an RBI ground out in the first inning, but a strikeout and hit back to the circle last time. One ball and 1 strike. First of 2 today for these 2 teams.
Oh, it seems like they're trying to get them both in game 1.
That one reached for and fouled away by McKelvey. 1-2.
Hope Providence doesn't have a plane to catch. They don't. They'll be back tomorrow, Donnie.
I'm relieved. I was getting concerned. 1-2 pitch. Pulled to the right side. San Antonio crisply to first. 2 easy outs as McCune rolls along. going to be another pinch hitter. Well, it's not a pinch hitter this time. Courtney Sandell takes her second at bat. She came in as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning and grounded to third. Runs up, takes a strike. There's nothing happening for Creighton on offense since that second frame. And you were right on it in that second inning when you said that this was Creighton's chance to put the game away early, and they didn't do it. That one called a strike, 0-2. And at the time, the way Providence have struggled offensively this year, you thought 5 runs might be more than enough. Didn't turn out that way. And those early chances, Creighton scored 4 in the first, but left the bases loaded. Still had 2 on with 1 out after making it 5-0 in the second. Let them hang in, and it's cost them so far.
Well, I don't think you're going to hear Brett Vignes complain too much about that first inning. You scored 4. You did leave 3 on.
There's Mulry. Wide throw and a collision at first. Sandell is safe, and let's see if everybody's okay. Rurka stayed down initially. Now she's gotten back to her feet. So has Sandell. You worry about that left arm. That's such a dangerous play for a first baseman, having to reach into the path of a runner on a wide throw.
And it looks like her glove just gets stuck on the helmet right there and spins her around. That wrist might be a little sore come tomorrow.
Boy, I'm amazed that Rurka looks like she's all right and is going to stay in this game. You worry, it's not only the wrist, it's sometimes the elbow. It can be the shoulders, too, when you're having to be torqued in that direction by a runner. It's the most dangerous play for a first baseman to have to make. And amazingly, Rurka looks like she's shaking it off and is going to stay in. So that's an E5. Inning should be over, but Sandell is at first base. The winning run on. Tosh Caulfield is due up. We're going to have a pinch hitter for her. Looks like this is going to be Michaela Picard, who will bat for a second time today.
I don't see an error up on the board there, Donnie.
Yeah, you're right. And this is not Picard, excuse me. This is 16, not 10. Nikki McNeil, her first at bat today. Takes ball 1. McNeil, a 273 average. Has appeared mostly off the bench this year. 6 hits and 22 at bats. She's knocked in 7 runs. And a high fly ball foul off third. It's going to even the count at 1-1.
Chance for McNeil. Come in and be the hero. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2 on. Or 2 out, rather. 1 on.
Sandell, by the way, 1 for 1 in stolen base attempts this year. Back to the mound, stabbed by McCune. She ends the inning herself. 7 relief frames for Megan McCune. She's not allowed to run since the 2nd. We will go to the 9th. Providence and Creighton still tied at 5. On to the ninth inning on the campus of Creighton University. Providence and the Blue Jays still knotted up at 5. It's been that way since the fourth inning when Providence tied it with 5 runs. First game of a doubleheader today. A lot of softball for these two teams, even more than they bargained for. It's still Kylie Miller in the circle for Creighton, starting the ninth with ball 1 to a pinch hitter for Providence. This is Hadley Tate, who has come off the bench to hit for Jackie Martin. Martin had gone 1 for 3 with an infield hit. Tate swings and misses to even the count at 1-1.
This is the 14th batter faced by Miller. Of the previous 13, she struck out 7.
2 balls and 1 strike to Tate, who's had 9 at-bats this year and is 0 for 9. So Tate looking to reach base for the first time on the season and takes a strike right at the knees, 2-2.
Miller had 47 strikeouts in 49 2/3 coming into this game here today, and she has upped that ratio considerably.
And she has another one here. That's her 8th since coming into this game. Leadoff batter gone in the 9th. It's also 4 in a row since that leadoff double last inning. See, 4 1/3 innings, no walks and 8 strikeouts. Quite a performance by Kylie Miller. 1-0 to Mackenzie Compton. Compton 1 for 3 today, had that RBI single in the 4th inning that put Providence on the board. And she's ahead 2-0. We're told this is a new season high in strikeouts for Kylie Miller with her 8th of the game, but she's behind 3-0 now on Compton. Seven hits for Creighton, 5 for Providence. The biggest one, a 3-run homer in the 4th by Julianne Rurka that tied this game. 3-1.
Across the 2-hour mark for this game 1 of the doubleheader now, as nobody wants to go home.
In the air to left. Back is Sandell. She's out of room, and Providence are in front. Mackenzie Compton, the number 9 hitter, makes it 6-5 Friars.
Just a big swing from Compton. Absolutely got all of it. Stayed back on it, got the barrel to it, and it's just about the same place that the big home run from Rurka went over.
Second home run of the season for Mackenzie Compton. And from 5-0 down, Providence have the lead, and they're 3 outs away now from what would be a tremendous win for them. And a very difficult loss for Creighton. So now Miller's got to get through the rest of this inning and keep her team within 1. This one poked in the air to shallow left. That's trouble, and that lands for a hit and kicks past Sandell down the left field line. And Emily is all the way into second. And the shortstop, fine and racing out to back up that play and keep Lee to 2 bases. And now Providence are thinking more.
Well, how about Mackenzie Compton in the 9-hole now? With that home run, brings her to 3 RBI for the day. She had 2 RBI single back in the 4th. Now Emily, who we've seen struggle at the dish all day, gets her first base hit of the afternoon and stands on second with the masher, Rurka, at the plate.
Foul ball down the right field line, lands untouched. And Rurka, again, the reason we're playing extra innings. 3-run homer in the 4th. She also doubled in the 1st. She's 2 for 4 today. Hit the ball hard just about all 4 times. Reached on an error on a hard hit ball in the 3rd inning.
2 players have all 6 of Providence's RBIs.
Oh, 0-2 this time on Rurka. So in this battle of the relievers, Kylie Miller, who came on in the 5th inning, and it's Megan McCune, who came in the 2nd. As there is strike 3 call to Rurka. Miller picks up her season-high 9th strikeout of the game. 2 out, and Brittany Wheeler coming up. But it was Miller who blinked first. As Compton blasting that homer to left to break this tie. Again, you can't fault either reliever, whoever comes up short in this game. As there's ball 1 to Wheeler. Both have pitched incredibly well to give their team every opportunity to win this game. Right now it's Providence who are in position to pull out the opener of this doubleheader. Wheeler blasts one to left. Sandell hauls this one in, shy of the track. Hard hit, but Providence held to that single run. So Creighton need a rally as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. They'll have the top of their order, Cantu, Crowley, and Finan coming up. 6-5 Providence. Creighton need a run. They're trailing 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's the top of their order. Ashley Cantu, who's gone 0 for 4 today, taking ball 1 for Megan McCune, who's trying to finish out this game. 7 relief innings for McCune. She gave up a run right away in the 2nd, but has locked it down ever since. Creighton has had 1 hit since the 2nd inning. That slap to left center, though. Tricky play, and it lands. Base hit and hops toward the wall. Into second, headed for third, Cantu. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Cantu starts the 9th with a triple, and the tying run is 60 feet away.
Definitely needed something from Ashley Cantu. Team leader in hits. She'd had 3 groundouts and was called out for stepping out of the box. Had really done nothing at the plate all day long. Starts off this 9th inning, bottom of the 9th for Creighton with a huge triple.
Sam Crowley, who has a hit and has been hit by a pitch twice, trying to tie it up. And takes a strike. Well, Providence had to be feeling really good about their position, with McCune throwing darts on the mound, but suddenly Creighton a big threat to come right back with a run of their own. And that one hammered foul. 2 strikes on Crowley.
Boy, Crowley, if she could just sit back on that. Another heartbeat.
That last play by Cantu, that hit by Cantu, ruled a double and an error. All pitch outside, 1-2 on Cantu. I believe that error is being charged to the left fielder. Yeah, the left fielder and center fielder came together, but it was Wheeler who had it hop past her. Here's a grounder foul behind the plate. So the double in the E7 put that tying run right at third base. And it looked like Wheeler and Compton, they wanted to avoid colliding with each other, and then they weren't sure who was going to actually stop that ball. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Crowley. in the air to center. Is it deep enough to tie? The catch by Compton. Here comes Cantu. The throw is not in time. Cantu with the hook slide. And the sac fly by Crowley ties this game at 6.
Great piece of base running there by Ashley Cantu. See this ball launched into center field, pretty shallow really, but Cantu, watch the slide, keeps the arm away, gets underneath the tag, then never gets there, and Ashley Cantu ties this game back up at 6.
Now the base is clear with 1 out for Kelly Finan. She walked and scored back in the first. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice since then. 2-0. If you're thinking about the home run, Finan leads the team with 4 of those this year. She was asked to bunt in the 7th inning. She got under that one, though. Shallow right field. Emma Lee puts away out number 2.
Perhaps wanting it just a little too much there, Kelly Finan, hoping that she could end this game with 1 swing of the bat. A little bit behind and underneath that one. Not really clean contact on the ball.
So Hope Moreno is the only thing standing between this game and a 10th inning. That's off the end of the bat, right to short, handled by Portillo. So the Blue Jays come back with a run of their own and send us on to more softball in game 1 of our doubleheader. To the 10th, a 6-6 tie in Omaha. Going to the 10th inning in a 6-6 tie, partly because Kylie Miller has been sensational, John, in relief today.
Yeah, and she's done it mostly with the heat, just throwing fastball after fastball after fastball. She will work a little bit of an inside curveball, but she has just blown it past a bunch of Providence hitters today. 9
strikeouts for Kylie Miller over 5 relief innings. That's a season high for her, the strikeouts that is. And now, because the Blue Jays came back with a run of their own in the bottom of the 9th, after Mackenzie Compton had given Providence their first lead of the game with a home run in the top of the 9th inning, it is Miller back to the circle and Creighton back into the field for inning number 10. Vanessa Portillo, 1 for 3 with a double today, takes strike 1. 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for Creighton. 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for Providence. Again, it was 5-0 Creighton after 2 innings. Portillo popped up, foul, out of play, 0-2. So first it was Creighton who looked like they had this game well in command early on. Providence tied it with 5 in the 4th. And then when Providence took their first lead on the home run in the top of the 9th, the way Megan McCune had been throwing, they thought maybe they had it pretty well sewn up, but a leadoff double plus an error to start the bottom of the 9th. And then a sacrifice fly knotted it up again. And here's strike 3 on the swing by Portillo. Another filthy pitch from Miller for her 10th strikeout of the day.
Miller just keeps ringing them up.
Paige Mulry, hitless today, 0 for 4, and swings under that one. She struck out twice, hit into a fielder's choice, grounded to third.
And the thing about Miller is she's not really worked inside-outside. She's worked high-low a lot and really had to force batters to change the eye level. It's really what's been working for her this afternoon.
Had a little more cloud cover move in over these last couple innings. We were playing in sunshine for most of this game. Miller hurls the 1-1, and that's fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Paige Mulry. Again, at the conclusion of this game, whenever that happens, we'll have a brief break, and then game 2 of our doubleheader. Where else would you rather be? 1-2 pitch. Deep drive down the left field line. Into foul ground goes Sandell, and she makes the catch. Nice play by Courtney Sandell. Had just enough room over by that fence. That's not easy.
That's a good track by Sandell. We saw earlier when Finan was racing back towards the wall, just had to look and check and lost track of a ball. That was a good job by Sandell to just use the track the way it's meant to be. Get that ball into the glove for out number 2.
Krista San Antonio 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch today. She struck out twice. Again, though, that hit by pitch, arguably the biggest of the game. And she lines one to deep left. Here comes Sandell again, right on the line. She squeezes it. And it's a 1-2-3 top of the 10th for Kylie Miller. So now the Jays have another chance to win it. They need a run to do so. Jayci McGill will lead off in the bottom of the 10th, tied at 6. 6-6 in the bottom of the 10th inning. Quite a contest between Providence and Creighton today. Ball 1 inside to Jayci McGill, thrown by Megan McCune, who continues in the circle for Providence. She's already pitched 8 innings in relief today. She came in to start inning number 2. And now McGill to deep center. Back goes Compton. It is gone! Blue Jays win it 7-6 on the walk-off homer by Jayci McGill.
What a swing for McGill. And that is a heartbreaking outing for Megan McCune.
Well, she did everything she could, but Creighton come back to win it. They were down in the 9th, they tied it, and they win it on one swing of the bat by Jayci McGill in the bottom of the 10th inning. So 7 runs on 9 hits for Creighton, 6 runs on 7 for Providence. And after this one almost got away, a great job of the Blue Jays to come back and pull it out.
Well, what a nice win after having everything going right early on. You take a 4-0 lead in the first, add a run in the second to make it 5-0, and then have to claw your way back for the walk-off win.
We'll take a brief break between games of our doubleheader and come back for Game 2. Can the Blue Jays go to 2-0 in Big East play? We'll start to find out in just a little while. Hope you enjoyed the opener here on GoCreighton.com.